I went right to the Ninth Division, and on December, we started a drive in.
What year did you say?
This would be in 1942, 43?
43?
Yeah,
You went in
43.
43.
We started a drive, and we're going up toward the Muse River in Moncho, and then the bulge broke out. And when the bulge came, we were sent way back to the back lines to protect the rear flank. And we didn't do anything much there, and then we came back and were assigned frontline duty, and it was just kind of soldierly job, and that's where I broke in really to the Army and to the mortars. I tried to shoot myself with the mortars one time. I was dropping shells too close to each other and blew the heavy mortar out of my hand, and I got a little calling out for that. But no, it was I stayed with the Ninth and that, and we. I guess Ninth was a good outfit. They did a lot of things. I didn't know what they were doing because they'd been in the war since I don't know when. So finally, when the when we crossed the river, we were close to it, and I crossed the river on the bridge before it fell down at night. A wonderful experience. And we just, it was the superstructure of the bridge was the only thing left. And of course the Germans were shelling the bridge and all that sort of thing. But I did get across. I helped push our mortar car along. I had an experience with a guy just before we took off. He looked at me, and he was an MP, and he says, I'm scared. He says, will you pray with me? And I said, sure I will. He says, well, I'm Jewish. I said, I don't care what you are. I said, I'll pray with you. So we did, and I never saw the guy again, but we did get across the river, and no casualties in the group that I had. And we went up the river a little ways and bunked down for the night near a champagne factory. And so from that on in, why we followed the First Army. The Ninth Division was in charge of the defense of on the landing on the other side of the river.
Okay.
And so we had a couple positions where we set in our mortars and exchanged fire with the Germans and all that, but it really wasn't too awful bad because the Germans were in confusion too because they didn't expect us to cross that river. But no, we got over there, and he said, "What soldiers do?" We said, "Yeah, where do you want us to go? What do you want us to do?" And so when we got over, we just acted as combat troops, and we got in the police pocket, and had a lot of airplanes chase us. But when we finally ended with the war, I was up next to Berlin, and I eventually got stationed in Berlin, not on the combat role, but on another role, and I saw the Russians come over, and one of our tricks would be to load up our pistols and walk across the bridge on the river and pick up German casualties. I mean, civilians and soldiers, because they didn't want to go to the Russians. They wanted to go to the Americans because they were going to get treated better. So one guy and I went over and got, I think it was 800 prisoners with just pistols. And then they finally realized the Russians didn't like it because, of course, they wanted these prisoners for hard work and that sort of thing. So, but I stayed up there in Berlin for a while, and the Ninth Division then came down and went into occupation, and we were at Ingolstadt, and I didn't do much of anything. I was a bugler for a while, staff sergeant bugler. The guy, the company commander says, "Do you want your stripes?" "The bugle." I said, "Well, I obviously want the stripes." And then because of that, I got a chance to go to track school. I ran track for a while in the Army. And then I got a chance to go to Switzerland. I had a Swiss furlough, which was